sales were,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a really nice neat school. High school control.
I don't remember, I think the seals that, they're either a rock or a marble like Callahan.
All right.
Those kinds of water plants, I remember.
My grandmother's house is right across the street from town.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
On the back road.
In that big field right outside the store.
It is actually a couple minutes past. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for coming. And it is Tuesday. This is our flow day, a little more movement. A lot more time in our standing portion of class. But we'll still start with some breath work. Finding a comfortable seat and getting to elongate the spine. And then for today, we will try some box breathing. And picture in a square in our mind's eye. 4 equal sides, and that's kind of how this breathing exercise goes. We'll be inhaling for 4, holding for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4, and then holding for 4 again, and then repeating that. Just taking a couple more moments, settling into the natural rhythm of our breath before beginning. And when we start taking this natural rhythm into the breathing exercise with us, we don't have to try to force it or we'll be counting super strictly. Just feel it. On your next inhale, inhaling deeply for 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhaling here for 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhaling here and counting silently to ourselves and making any adjustments. Shortening or lengthening something, or anything at all, making it your own, something you can come back to at any time during the day, during the week. Give yourself a break, slow things down. Finishing up our last round and returning to our normal breathing. Taking notice of the rise and fall of the chest, or the air entering, exiting the nostrils. On your next inhale, inhaling both arms up overhead. Maybe finding slight back bend at the top and then exhaling hands to heart center. And one more time, inhaling both arms up overhead. Maybe finding that slight back bend and exhaling hands to heart center. And then from here, making our way to standing. And choosing our props for today. We can have chair with the seat facing us for hand placement. We can have blocks at the top of our mats. We can have palms coming right down onto the mat. From here, finding our mountain pose, wiggling out the feet, bringing feet about hip distance apart, spreading the toes wide. Eyes can be closed here, soft gaze down. We check on the slight bend in the knees. And pelvis tucked in, spine tall. Shoulders relaxed and down. And your next inhale, we're inhaling both arms up overhead. Exhaling, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up, slowly rising, maybe finding that slight back bend at the top, and exhaling, hands to heart center. And again, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we're rising, soften the knees, arms going out and up, maybe finding that slight back bend at the top, and exhaling, hands to heart center. Last one, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, and just hang out here. Staying with your breath, but checking in on your body. How are the shoulders feeling? You want to wrap forearms behind the calf, squeezing elbows together, maybe putting weight in the heels, weight in the toes. Maybe finding some stillness. Just giving that tension over time on the low back. And then from here, on your next inhale, we're ragdolling up, soft bend the knees, leaving the arms and head dangling, slowly uncurling the spine, one vertebra at a time. And arriving back in mountain pose, we exhale, shoulders back and down, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, right foot steps back, followed by the left, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, a big breath in here. And then as we exhale, sinking that head down, biceps squeezing ears. Nice long line from the tailbone to the fingertips, and we're pressing away through the palms. Maybe we're pedaling out the feet here as well, bending one knee, dropping opposite heel a little closer to the mat. One more big breath in and out. And then next inhale, we're gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up, maybe finding that slight back bend at the top. And exhaling, hands to heart center. And inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, left foot steps back, followed by the right, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, inhaling, right leg rises. Exhaling, knee to nose, stepping that through, angling that right foot out. With that right foot a little outside of the right hand or right block, and we got the toes angled out a little bit as well. We're walking the left foot back. We haven't warmed up the hips too much yet, but finding our edge where it's at right now, and then on our next inhale, we're dipping in, finding kind of that cow pose with the torso as we exhale, straightening the right leg, tucking chin to chest, rounding the spine, and then playing in. We're gonna take about 60 seconds here each side. Dip in, press away, taking this opportunity to connect your breath with your movement, or explore some holds. You know, we're holding the breath. We can hold the stretches as well. Way into adjusting that back left foot. We want to walk that back a little bit further, get a little deeper into the stretches. How can you benefit the most from this motion, from these exercises? And then eventually Next exhale, we're stepping, sliding right foot back to meet the left, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Next inhale, floating out to plank. First of all our optional flows. Exhale, slowly lower. Elbows brushing the rib cage. Inhale, upward dog. Drop the hips, straighten the arms. Exhale. Hips up and back, downward dog. Big breath in. And out. Next inhale, left leg rises. Exhaling, knee to nose. Stepping that through, angling that foot out. And then taking another 60 seconds here. Inhale, dip in. Squeeze shoulder blades together, raise the gaze. We're in that cow stretch as we dip into that left knee. As we tuck the shin, round the spine, pull the shoulder blades apart. We're in that cat back stretch. As we find that left hamstring. Again, no wrong way to do this. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. Just spend some time waking up your body. Those areas where you're feeling the most tension, the most discomfort, they may be the ones that could use a little extra attention. Stay in your balance of ease and effort. And on your next exhale, we're stepping or sliding left foot back to meet the right, pressing hips up and back, finding that downward dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Then option to flow, inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend, drop the hips, straighten the arms. Exhale, hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in here. Exhaling, let it go. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up, baby, finding that slight back bend. And exhaling, hands to heart center. And again, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, right foot steps back, followed by the left, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, inhaling, left leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose. Stepping it through right down the middle, then we're floating our hands, adjusting that back foot, and then we're rising on an inhale. Finding that high lunge, exhale, sinking in. Another breath in, lengthening, reaching, stretching them up. Strength all the way through the pinky fingers. And then exhale, we're going to goalpost and raise the gaze slightly. Inhaling, both arms up, legs staying still. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, goalpost. Inhaling, both arms up. Exhale, slowly lower with control. Hands coming down, framing the front foot. When they find the chair that blocks the mat, right foot steps back to meet the left, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then option to flow, inhaling out to plank. All flows are optional. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Holding down dog is a strength building pose. Another big breath in here. And out. Next inhale, left leg rises. Exhaling, knee to nose, stepping it through. Then we're floating the hands and rising on an inhale. Sinking in as we exhale. Another breath in, stretching, lengthening. Reaching fingers up, pinky fingers spinning in, locking the gaze. One more breath in, and then 3 rounds. Goalpost on the exhale. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Raise the gaze. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale, both arms up. Exhaling, slowly lower. Framing that front foot. Left foot steps back to meet the right. Pressing hips up and back. Downward dog. Big breath in. And out. And then option to flow. Inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Another breath in. And out. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up. Maybe finding that slight back bend at the top and exhaling, hands to heart center. And again, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, left foot steps back, followed by the right, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, inhaling, right leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. Floating the hands and then rising on an inhale. Sinking in as we exhale. Another breath in, lengthening, reaching, pinky fingers spreading in. We're looking really good. We have knee over ankle on the front foot, high up on the toe pads of that back foot. We're looking fantastic. Next exhale, slowly dipping down and then raising back up, 3 little dips. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rising. One more time. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rising. This time, exhale, twist right. Right hand coming behind, left hand in front. Gaze goes down to the floor, still 6 to 8 feet in front. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. Can be helpful as well. Your next inhale, that right arm drops down, spins forward, rising all the way up to that high crescent lunge. Exhale, slowly lower with control. Hands framing the front foot when they arrive. Right foot steps back to meet the left, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in. And out. Next inhale, left leg rises. Exhaling, knee to nose. Stepping it through. Loading the hands and then rising on an inhale. Sinking in as we exhale. Being mindful of the breath. Is it slow? Is it steady? Can we deepen it? Can we lock our gaze? Can we build that focus, build that concentration? Next exhale, 3 little knee dips. Exhale, dipping down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, dip. Inhale, straighten. One more time. Exhale, dip. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, twist left. Right hand coming in front, left arm going behind. Gaze shifts to the floor. Still finding that spot. Your next inhale, left arm drops down. Spins forward, rises all the way up. Big, slow inhale here, and then exhale, slowly lower. Once again, framing the front foot, hands arrive, left foot steps back to meet the right, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in and out. And then option to flow, inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Another breath in and out. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up. Maybe finding slight back bend at the top, and exhale, hands to heart center. One breath in. And return to mountain, pedaling the feet out. Wiggle it out, wiggle it out. Well, there's quite a while without a wiggle. Returning to mountain pose, finding that stillness. Next inhale, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, chair pose, bending the knees. We're dropping the hips. Sinking down. Pelvis in that anterior tilt. Weight is in the heels. Can we give the toes a little wiggle? And then choosing our hands, we can come hands at heart center, shoulder height, shoulder width. Could raise them up a little higher, just depending on how we are feeling, how we're gonna handle the shoulders today. One more breath in. And then as we exhale, we're coming down, forward fold, placing hands, right foot, take step up and back, right foot only. Finding our warrior one feet. Knee over ankle alignment on that front left foot, right foot, heel is down, 45-degree angle, floating our hands, and then rising on an inhale. Wonderful, sinking in as we exhale. Another breath in, lengthening, reaching, stretching, trying to grab the ceiling. Strength all the way through the fingers. Pinky fingers spinning in, reaching until we're getting a little light. We're getting a little airy. Arms are getting a little tingly. Next, exhale, humble warrior. Begin hinging at the hips. Arms coming behind the back, fingers clasp. And we begin pressing the palms away from the low back as we lower the head down. Shoulder blades are squeezed together here on your next inhale. Keep shoulder blades squeezed together. We're slowly rising. Using the core, using that back, releasing the arms, bringing both arms up overhead. Making this a big inhale, adding a little back bend, and then as we exhale, slowly lower. Pivoting right foot forward as our hands arrive, left foot steps back to meet the right, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in. Exhaling, let it go. And option to flow, inhale out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Another big breath in. And out. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up. Maybe finding that slight back bend at the top, and exhaling, hands to heart center. And other side, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, chair pose, bend the knees. Drop the hips, bring that pelvis into that anterior tilt, sticking that butt out, weight in the heels, wiggling the toes. Choosing that intensity with the shoulders. One more breath in here. And then as we exhale, forward fold, placing hands, left foot takes that step up and back. And going ahead, adjusting our base. Knee over ankle on the front right foot, left foot, heel is down. Foot is angled out about 45 degrees, and we're floating our hands and rising on an inhale. Sinking in as we exhale. Another breath in, lengthening, reaching, stretching. Tall as we can get, pinky fingers spinning in, trying to grab those ceiling tiles. And then as we exhale, exhaling, humble warrior, hinging at the hips, tucking chin to chest. Hands coming in the back, maybe fingers interlaced, maybe we're just grabbing at the first knuckle, pressing palms away. From the low back, raise them up. That's going to squeeze shoulder blades together. Torso is hovering or it's resting on that front quad. And then your next inhale, we're beginning to slowly rise up, releasing the hands, both hands up overhead. Finding that slight back bend, little extra shoulder stretch, and then exhaling slowly lower with control. Pivoting the left foot forward, framing the front foot, right foot steps back to meet the left, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. An option to flow, inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale. Down dog, another breath in. And out. And next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up. Maybe finding slight back bend and exhaling, hands to heart center. One breath in. And return to mountain. Pedaling the feet out, just a couple more. Doing fantastic. Take a break, drink some water, wipe some sweat. And then rejoin us when you're ready. Next inhale, inhaling both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, right foot steps back, followed by the left, pressing hips up and back, downward dog. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. And we're dropping that back heel. We're going to rise right into our warrior two. Dropping that left heel down. Toes are pointed towards the mirrors on our inhale. Left arm cartwheels up and over. Right arm follows. We land in our warrior two and then checking our edge. Been through quite a few standing series. Can we walk that back foot back any? Where are our thighs allowing us to go? Stretching the fingers long. And then next inhale, flipping the front palm, leaning forward. Exhale. Peaceful warrior, choosing the gaze down at the left foot, left hand up at that right arm, attention on the breath or that side bend. Right rib cage expanding. Another breath in here, reaching back as far as we can, and then exhaling, extended side angle, right forearm finds the right thigh. Left arm, bicep to ear, armpit, palm spinning down. Maybe we're adding a twist. Maybe we're dropping that right arm down, pressing into the inside of the right leg, shoulders stack, core activates, and then we take that left arm and we reach. We reach like we're grabbing for something like our life depends on it. Nice long line, fingers to toes. And then your next inhale, we're rising back up to our warrior two. Settling in as we exhale. Another breath in here. And then we're exhaling, warrior three, cartwheeling, hands down, hinging over that right foot, and then raising that left leg up. On that left foot, foot is flexed, pinky toe spinning down, and we're pressing. Pressing away. Now we can keep our hands on our props. They can stay on our chairs. Maybe blocks are at the top of the mat. Maybe hands come to heart center. Maybe we float them back in airplane or up in front and streamline position. Where do they want to be today? One more breath in here. And then just attempting, as we exhale, we're going to attempt a cartwheel back into a warrior two. Landing that left foot, cartwheeling hands up and over. And settling in as we exhale. Taking the time to make any adjustments. Relaxing the shoulders down, stretching the arms out. And then next inhale, dancing warrior again. Flip the front palm, lean forward. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Choosing the gaze, adding that neck stretch. One more big breath in here, reaching that arm back. Then as we exhale, finding that extended side angle. Right forearm, right thigh, left arm, bicep to ear. Maybe we drop that right arm down. Maybe we add that twist. Maybe we add a shoulder opening this time, taking that left arm up towards 12 o'clock. Whatever options we're taking, next inhale. Rising back up to our warrior two. Settling in as we exhale. Another breath in, lengthen and reaching, stretching the arms out. Then as we exhale, this time we're cartwheeling down, half moon. Hands are finding our props. We're coming up briefly into that warrior three and then attempting to stack the hips. So definitely want to keep right hand down. Left hand can find the hip or extend up towards 12 o'clock. Our left toes are facing the mirror side of the room. And left hip stacked on top of right, and we can kind of get into heading towards shoulder stacking as well. One more breath in here. And then as we exhale, once again, bending into that right leg and attempting to slowly with control cartwheel. Back into that warrior two. Settling in as we exhale. Another breath in, stretching fingertip to fingertip long as we can get, and then exhaling, cartwheeling hands down. Pivoting left foot forward. When our hands arrive, right foot steps back to meet the left, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in. And out. And then option to flow, inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. We're dropping that right heel down, toes pointed to the bar side of the room. On our inhale, starting right arm, cartwheels up and over, left arm follows. We find our warrior two, other side. Settling in, gazing over left middle finger. Fingertip to fingertip, finding that length, finding that distance with the shoulders relaxed down. A lot of little things to do here. Finding our edge, finding where we want to work today, where can that back foot go? And then next inhale, flipping the front palm, leaning forward. Exhale, reversing the warrior, choosing the gaze. Legs haven't moved yet. Just top half. Adding that neck stretch. Breathing into that left side body. One more breath in, reaching that top arm back. Then as we exhale, cartwheeling hands down, extended side angle, left forearm finds our left thigh, right arm. Bicep to ear. Armpit palm spinning down and reach. Nice long line, fingers to toes on that right side body. Maybe we drop that left arm down and generate that twist, stack those shoulders. And your next inhale, we're inhaling back up to warrior two. Sinking in as we exhale. Another breath in, lengthening, stretching arms long, and then exhaling, warrior three, cartwheeling hands down, hinging over that left leg, and then raising that right leg up. Foot is flexed, pinky toe spinning down. Choosing our options for our hands. We definitely want to keep that slight bend in that standing leg. Keep the quad active. And find that length in that right leg. Stretch it out. That length is just as important as the height. We're looking good, looking good. One more breath in. And then your next exhale, we're bending into that left leg and attempting to cartwheel back up and over into our warrior two. Wonderful, wonderful. Relax in the face. Adding a little smile. Stretching fingers long, and then next inhale, dancing warrior, flip the front palm, lean forward. Exhale. Peaceful warrior, choosing our gaze. Settling into that side bend, reaching that left arm up overhead, rib cage, shoulder expanding, stretching. And then your next exhale, cartwheeling over, extended side angle, left forearm, left thigh, right arm, bicep to ear. Option to add that twist, option to add that shoulder opener as well. Second time through, maybe right arm extends straight up towards 12 o'clock. And your next inhale, we're rising back up to our warrior two. Sinking in. Relaxing the face, slowing the breath. One more big breath in here. And then we're exhaling, half moon, cartwheeling hands down, leaning over that left foot. When that right foot raises, we're stacking right hip on top of left and toes are pointing towards the right. Maybe right hand finds the hip. And shoulders stack on top of each other. And if you're feeling any inclination to angle that standing leg in, please do so. And then your next exhale, we'll begin to bend in to that right or left leg and slowly lower with control back into our warrior two. Another big breath in here, reaching, stretching. And this time as we exhale, we're cartwheeling all the way down, pivoting right foot forward. When our hands arrive, left foot steps back to meet the right. Pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in and out. And then option to flow, inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Another breath in and out. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees. We're slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhaling forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next, inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up, maybe finding slight back bend at the top. And exhaling, hands to heart center. One breath in and return to mountain. Excellent, excellent. From here, we bring our props to the right side of our mat. And this can be chair with the seat facing us or blocks. We're going to turn to face this and begin finding our wide leg stance. Hands on our hips, and we're just heel toeing our feet out. Eventually, with shoulder blades squeezed together, on our next exhale, we're going to begin hinging down and finding that half lift, flat back, hands on our props. And then again, double checking heels in, toes out, and we're going to begin bending into one knee, straightening the opposite leg, maybe raising the toes of that leg and just going back and forth in this motion. We can keep our hands on our chair or blocks. We can walk the hands back and forth across the mat. We can make this very stretchy, using the support of our arms or props. We can bring hands to heart center. We'll still get a stretch in here, but we're also getting some strength building in. Again, just finding that option that's working for you this morning. Or no, what was your intention? Intention for coming in this morning? Is it the stretchiness? Is it the strengthening? Is it the breath work? Evening out both sides. And eventually meeting in the middle back in that half lift. And we're heel toeing our feet in. And then from here, just making our way down onto our bums. And as we head on down to our mats, couple things we may need. Definitely our black strap and at least one block. Blankets are good for headrest or neck roll. And we're going to come down with one of our blocks. Very quick floor routine today. We're going to start out hands at the number 11. And then just taking that slow row boat. We're taking our slow boat down, but we're just rowing that block left and right. And eventually all the way down onto our backs. Arms at the letter T. We're bending our knees, soles of the feet on the mat, and we're floating both the feet. And we're going to try doubles, but we can also do one at a time here. But finding about a 90-degree bend, toes pointed, and then both feet, if possible, coming down, tapping, and raising back up for 1 and 2. Also okay to do one at a time here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, those feet down. Release, take some windshield wipers, maybe double knee hug, pulling both knees into the chest, rolling out the spine. And then while we're in this double knee hug, grabbing one of the blocks, getting that in between the thighs. With the stripes facing us, arms back out to a T, and then as we exhale, we're twisting, twisting right, gazing left, knees can hover, legs can hover here. And we can maybe add a kick out as well, straightening the legs, getting a little extra intensity from those feet hanging way out to the side. And next inhale, we're bending the knees and then using the core, bringing the knees right up over the hips. A little bit extra core in the transitions, wiggling out the lumbar. And then as we exhale, twisting left, gazing right. Maybe legs hover here. Maybe we add that kick out. Just one more big breath in and out. And then next inhale, bending the knees. Knees come over the hips, remove the block, windshield wipers, double knee hug. What would feel good right here? How would you want to release? And then from here, whichever option we've chosen, we're meeting in our bridge prep, bending the knees, soles of the feet on the mat. We're scooting our shoulder blades together, arms long out by our sides. And then on an inhale, we're pressing the hips up, scooting shoulder blades together a little more, pressing hips up a little higher, holding right here. And now 10 little pulses. Just slightly lowering and raising the hips. 4, 5, moving with the breath. Press up on the inhale, lower on the exhale. We'll say 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Next exhale, slowly lowering all the way down. 1 vertebra at a time, reconnecting. Arms still out by our side, and we're going to scoot the shoulder blades together again. On our next inhale, pressing the hips up towards the ceiling if we can. Scoot the shoulder blades together a little more, make a little more room to tuck the chin to the chest. Keep the hips pressed up high. And here we're going to do 12 little heel lifts. Attempting to keep the hips where they're at, pressed up high. And then inhale, we're just coming up on the toes and lowering back down for 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Exhaling, slowly lower. 1 vertebra at a time, reconnecting. From here, double knee hug. Pull both knees in, roll it out a little side to side, a little back and forth. Now, however, we're enjoying this double knee hug, or maybe we found a happy baby here. We're bringing our hands to behind our thighs and continuing to roll on the spine, but this time we're rocking and rolling along the length of the spine and eventually rocking and rolling all the way back up to seated and gathering some of our things for forward fold. Always the option to raise the hips up, prop the hips up on a blanket, depending on how the hamstring is feeling today. Maybe blocks under the knees. And from here, we're going to inhale both arms up overhead. And then as we exhale, starting with that hinge, starting with that back flat, reaching as far as we can, and then eventually rounding the spine. Dropping the arms, letting everything go. When we first get into a forward fold, we're already instinctively doing what we probably one of the best things to do. We have our head lowered, our chin is tucked, and probably automatically breathing a little deeper. This is exactly where we need to be in the forward folds. Slowing things down, sending those messages to the brain. I'm here to relax. I'm here to stretch, to strengthen. After a good 60, 90 seconds, each exhale and becomes an opportunity to soften in. We can try right now. Each breath out you take, see if we can just lower down a little bit further. Some part of the body relax, release some tension. And your next inhale, we're slowly uncurling, rising up one vertebra at a time. Removing any props we may have been using, but maybe sending our blanket to the back of our mat for Shavasana and getting our straps out and then getting them on the sole of the right foot. And then we did our core already. We can just slowly lower, coming down back onto our backs while that right leg makes its way up towards 12 o'clock. Moving the straps into the right hand, and then as we exhale, that leg is just falling out to the right. And then next inhale, leg is going back up towards 12 o'clock and moving the strap into the left hand. As we exhale, we're twisting left, gazing right. And in these opportunity to make adjustments is the tension on the strap. And next inhale, raising that right leg back up towards 12 o'clock as we exhale, right heel slowly lower down to meet the left, stepping in to the strap with the left foot and pulling that up towards 12 o'clock, moving the strap into the left hand, and then as we exhale, the left leg is just falling out to the side. Next inhale, slowly raising the left leg back up towards the ceiling, moving the strap into the right hand as we're twisting right, looking left. Your next inhale, left leg begins to rise back up towards 12 o'clock. And then as we exhale, we're slowly lowering the left leg down to meet the right, stepping out of the straps. And then from here, taking another round of windshield wipers or anything else. And at this time, using the last couple minutes, we can come into Shavasana. We can find an inversion, anything at all. When we arrive in that comfortable position of our choosing, this is the opportunity to bring in any personal meditation practice you may have from home, or it could be as simple as just focusing on your own breath, the rise and fall of the chest. Or maybe you connect with the air entering, exiting the nostrils. Or it could be as simple as thinking, I am inhaling, I am exhaling. Beginning to deepen the breath. Maybe taking a deep 3-part breath here, feeling belly, ribs, and chest. Sending that exhale out to the fingers and toes. And then begin to bring movement back to the body. Bring in bigger and bigger movement. And taking any additional stretches or poses that might feel good. Another double knee hug or full body stretch. And rolling onto our favorite side, resting cheek on bicep. And eventually make our way back to that comfortable seated position. And we'll close with one final inhale, inhaling both arms up overhead, gather new energy for the day, exhaling hands to heart center, sealing that in, carrying that with us. And I thank you all so much for coming, and thank yourselves for showing up and putting in all this hard work. And any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to speak to me after class. A wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.